During the Great Depression, they were called Hoovervilles, but today America's Shantytowns are called Bidenvilles. Michael Snyder reports, to those at the bottom of America's economic pyramid, it feels like the economy has already collapsed. When you can't afford to put a roof over your head and you barely have enough food to eat and nothing else really matters. During the Great Depression of the 1930s, millions of homeless Americans created large shantytowns known as Hoovervilles all over America. Unfortunately, we are witnessing the same thing today. Our homeless population is rapidly exploding, and those that have nowhere to live are creating shelters for themselves out of wood, cardboard boxes, tents, tarps, construction materials, and whatever else they can find. In some cases, very large shantytown communities are being established, and they are primarily populated by young adults. The Great Depression, 1929 to 1933, 48% of the nation was homeless, 48%, living with relatives or in shantytowns, Hoovervilles. Today, between 47 and 52% of young adults are homeless, living with parents or shelters, a direct result of Biden's radical overspending, energy and immigration policies, inflation and high interest, turning America into a giant Bidenville. One Bidenville that has been getting a lot of attention recently is located in Oakland, California. A video of that Bidenville that was posted on social media May 31st shows massive temporary houses built along service roads. Shocking footage has emerged showing a gigantic shantytown that sprang up in Oakland as the California city slide into crime-ravaged squalor continues. Michael Oxford, the host of Cali Based, posted a video on May 31st of massive temporary houses built along service roads that open up into main roads in Hooverville, Oakland. The footage showed trash strewn around scores of houses that were built of wood, tarp, and other discarded materials. I write about this stuff all the time, but it is still hard to believe that so many people are living in third world conditions in the United States of America in 2024. The man that shot the video, Michael Oxford, used the term absolute squalor to describe the conditions that he witnessed. Particularly shocking was just how large the shantytown is, with a lengthy stretch of road in the Bay Area city covered with the makeshift dwellings. Oxford could be heard calling the area a shantytown. That is absolutely mind-boggling, as he remarked how insane it is that city officials allow this. He captioned his video, "Parts of Oakland are worse than the third world countries. They just allow people to live in absolute squalor wherever they choose." If you live in wealthy America, you may never have to drive into areas where people are living like this. Your reality may be filled with tree-lined streets and rich people sipping coffee, but the worst areas of Oakland, the lawlessness never ends. In fact, authorities in Oakland recently removed traffic lights at one major intersection, replaced it with stop signs because thieves were constantly stealing copper wire from the electric boxes. The city of Oakland recently removed traffic lights from one busy intersection and replaced them with stop signs after the electrical boxes that control the traffic lights were repeatedly tampered with and copper from them was stolen. Local residents and those who own businesses in the area say the issue with the traffic light stems from the nearby homeless encampment, which has grown over the years. The owners of a vehicle repair shop on the corner of the intersection, Tam Le, said the city is signaling that it is giving up on us by installing the stop signs. And if you want someone to blame for this mess, you can blame the politicians in Washington. And thanks to the horrific inflation that they've created, approximately a quarter of the population in California is either living in poverty or is very close to living in poverty. Biden need not worry about losing California to Trump, but it has one of the nation's highest rates of inflation, according to Moody's Analytics, worsening its already outlandishly high cost of housing and other living expenses. It's the biggest factor in California, having the highest level of functional poverty of any state. 13.2% according to the U.S. Census Bureau, about 50% higher than the national rate. The Public Policy Institute of California, using similar statistical methodology, has found that a quarter of Californians are either living in poverty or financially close. More recently, the PPIC has explored the impact of inflation, especially on California families which struggle to pay for housing, food, and other necessities. And sadly, this is just the beginning because our economy is going downhill really fast. In May, pending home sales plunged to a depressingly low level. Well, the analysts had the direction right, but magnitude was way off as pending home sales plunged 7.7 month over month, the biggest drop since February 2021, and below the lowest estimate, leaving sales down 0.7% year over year. This is the 29th straight month year-over-year decline for non-seasonally adjusted pending home sales. This month-over-month decline pushed the pending home sales index back to record lows. Meanwhile, Zero Hedge reported that the Chicago PMI index fell so low in May that it suggested that the economy is in a depression. After unexpectedly slumping last month to 37.9, the Chicago PMI index cratered even more unexpectedly in May when it defied hopes of a rebound to 41.5 and instead tumbled even more, sliding to a cycle low of 35.4, which was not only below the lowest estimate, but was staggeringly low. To get a sense of just how low, the last two times it printed here was during the peak of the COVID and global financial crisis, which seems to suggest that, at least according to the Chicago-based purchasing managers, the economy is in a depression. I would agree with that assessment. Things are getting really bad out there. To top everything off, in May, the Dallas Fed Services Sector survey was in contraction territory for the 24th month in a row. Despite Bernstein and Biden demanding the great unwashed realize just how great they have it in America, this morning's Dallas Fed Services Sector survey offers some insights from actual real people in the actual real world trying to do actual real business, and it's not pretty. For 2 straight years, 24 straight months, the Texas services sector has been in contraction below zero, with May's minus 12.1 point worse than expected. For context, the Great Recession of 2008-2009 also saw 24 straight months of negative prints. But if you live in wealthy America, you may not care about these numbers because you still live in a nice home and you still have plenty of nice things. Unfortunately, the number of people that can afford to live in wealthy America is shrinking with each passing day. And the gap between the wealthy and the rest of us just continues to get larger and larger. Ultimately, the stage is being set for a societal meltdown of absolutely epic proportions. The bottom 50% of the population only owns just 2.6% of all the wealth, and they are becoming very restless. When people have nothing left to lose, they become very desperate, and very desperate people do very desperate things. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. This is by Michael Snyder. About the author, Michael Snyder's extremely controversial new book entitled Chaos is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophets of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.